Hey guys, it's Courtney and I am back again to bring you guys my winter book haul of 2017. This is my first book haul that I have ever done, so I'm really excited to jump into it with you guys. But before I do that, I want to give a huge shout out and hats off to all the men, women, and children who came out to DC for the Women's March. I love the solidarity that I saw across the nation and across the world. It just warms me to know that we are now taking a more active stance in fighting for our rights. So I hope that we continue to uplift each other and continue to show this type of solidarity for other causes. But in light of that, I wish I could have been there, but I had to get these coins. So, but that's all right. I'm wearing my Rihanna, fuck 'em up shirt. This is probably what I would have worn had I been able to go. So once again, I want to give a big shout out to all those who attended and all those who couldn't attend but still show their solidarity. I want to jump into this book haul, but I want to give a slight disclaimer. The amount of books that I bought may seem, a bit on the large side, but if you really think about it, for the past, 3 to 4 years, I haven't really had the opportunity to purchase, any books for myself. Most of my money went to textbooks and, anything dealing with psychology and mental health. So I felt that it was overdue and I get to buy a lot of pretty books for me. So yeah, and some of these books were gifts for Christmas and some I thrifted. So I don't want you guys to think that I spent all this money trying to get these books because no, I didn't, but I did. So let me hop into this book haul. I am going to start with the books I got for Christmas. My amazing boyfriend, he was sort of like, oh, all you want for Christmas is books. And I'm like, yes, and these are the books that I wanted. But of course, he always gives me what I need. And he went out and he got these books for me. So I got The Wheels of Life, The Classic Guide to the Chakra System by Enodia Judith. She has her PhD, so I'm pretty sure she knows what she's talking about. I've just really been trying to get into learning more about spirituality and, what goes on in our bodies and things like that. So chakras have always interested me and I don't know much about them. So I got this book. I skimmed through it so far, but I'll probably go back, highlight and make some tabs. And I may even make a video about what I learned, if that might interest some of you. So yeah, this is a book that I got for Christmas. Sorry guys, my camera died. But the second book that I got for Christmas that I wanted to go into was Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. This is very popular right now. I know it's on everybody's TBR, but haha, I've already read it. So I'll probably go more into detail about it in my January wrap-up. But basically the premise of the story is it follows two sisters. One is married to a slave trader and the other one is traded as a slave. And it sort of goes down into talking about how they live their lives, how their children, their children's children. And I think it goes through 7 generations. But so far, a very good read. So I will talk more about this in my January wrap-up. But the next book I got is a classic. It is The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I've never read this book, but of course I've heard great things about it. And I heard that it's really a cornerstone book that you definitely want to read by a Black author. So in school there was not big push or emphasis on reading things written by Black folks. So, of course I wanted to pick this up to make sure that it got read. So I don't know when I'm going to read it, but it's going to get read. Next book I talked about in my last video, it's Between the World and Me by Te-Nehisi. Great book. I think everyone should pick it up. It's a short read, so you can probably read through this in one sitting. But like I said in my last video, very inspiring and very heartfelt. It definitely hits on those keynotes that we now see going on today. Okay. The next big chunk are books that I bought myself, but most of these were from either bookstores or I got them off of Amazon. So I'm just gonna run through these because some of them I have not read, so I'll probably get to them later on and discuss them with you. So the first two are by the same author, First one is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I did read this book already, and I think I talked about it a little bit in my last video, so I won't talk too much about that. But the second book that I got is also by her. It's called The Sun Is Also a Star. I saw good reviews on this book. I'm very excited to pick it up. I'll probably pick it up in my next TBR. I'm not sure yet. But basically the premise is, you know, a young girl, her family is about to get deported back to Jamaica, and then she meets this other guy, and somehow their fates are like intertwined. I really want to go into this book knowing as little as possible, because I think that makes the reading experience, you know, just so much more. But I'm really excited to read this. The next book I got is Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I think that's how you say her name. Also a very well-known book. I've seen a lot of great reviews on BookTube about it. And it's a historical fiction, World War II-esque, I believe. And it's about, you know, I think this lifeboat or something like that for like children or adolescents trying to escape. I think it takes place in Germany. So I'm very interested in reading this. I've been reading a lot of historical fiction lately. So, and I've never read anything by her. So I'm very eager to jump into this. The next book I have, it's very popular right now since there's a movie coming out about it, is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is the original, I believe, where it has like the really cool pictures in it. And I think this is considered middle grade. Look at that. But I heard a lot of great things about it, and you know, I love the premise of the story. The young boy, he's going through dealing with a lot of life changes. His mom has cancer and is really sick. So basically he sort of conjures up this monster that he had in his dreams, and it sort of like helps him get through all of that. So it sort of touches on what I'm all about, you know, mental health, you know, dealing with life struggles. So I'm really excited to read this, and I really want to see the movie, but I don't think I'll read it in time to read it before the movie leaves theater. That's okay, because your girl got a fire stick. And let me tell you, it's a double-edged sword. Don't get caught up, because my younger sister sits there for hours in front of the fire stick watching endless episodes of like bug juice. I don't know. The next book I have is The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl by Issa. She actually has a TV show that's out on like HBO or Netflix or something like that. But this really intrigued me. One, it looks like a magazine cover, and Awkward Black Girl. It's like so me. So I'm very, you know, eager to, you know, pick this up and read it and see what it's about. I hear it's supposed to be really funny and hilarious, and that's right up my alley. So yeah, this is something that I got, and I will definitely have a review for you guys, those of you who are interested. The next book that I have is The Library at Mount Char. I haven't heard too much about this book. I actually picked it up from Anne-Marie's channel. She, you know, gives it high regard, so I thought I would read it as well. Basically, I think it's like fantasy fiction. It's like these gods or something. They like have different powers. I'm not really too sure, actually. Well, yeah, it's a very long blurb, but basically I'm really excited to read this. I will talk more about it once, you know, I actually read it. But yeah, this is another thing that I got in my haul. Or, you know, all of you guys have already read it or heard about it, because it also has the second part of the duology coming out this year, I believe in June or July. But it's called This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Basically, it's about a world of monsters. There's humans and monsters, and basically the monsters are formed based upon an evil deed. So how they died or what they did while they were living, and it sort of turns you into a monster. So I'm really interested to read this. I've never read anything quite like this before. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's about. It's gotten great reviews, and you know, people just love it, but then again, a lot of people love everything on BookTube, so we gonna see. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. She's the author of the Lunar Chronicles, which I have never read. But this is supposed to be a retelling of the Queen of Hearts. I picked this up because, you know, I've never read a retelling before. I know, shoot me in the face, why don't you? Like I said, a lot of my reading for the past years have been heavily focused on my schoolwork. So, and reading outside of that was really just like a drag. So I'm really excited to read this as a first retelling and really get back into sort of like the fantasy world. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is going to be great. And of course, everybody knows, everybody does this on BookTube, so I'm going to do it too. Oh my God, look at this. The cover is just great. It's just great. I know, I'm being an ass, whatever. The next one I got, well, the next two, I'm really trying to beef up reading series again, just because I loved, you know, Hunger Games. I loved Divergent series, loved Twilight, probably the first thing that got me into the series world, and of course Harry Potter. But I got the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. The first one is the Six of Crows, and the second is Crooked Kingdom. Actually got them at the same time because I wanted to binge read these two things, so I will definitely have a review up after I finish reading them. Don't know when I'm going to get to them, but let's hope it's soon, alright? Let's hope we get through these two big old books. The next thing I got was Swing Time by Zadie Smith. I've never read anything by her, but I've always seen her books, but I've just never picked up on anything by her. I don't know why, just because I probably wasn't reading much of anything at all. So I'm really eager to get into it. Basically, it's about two friends. One can dance, one has a love of dance. And so, you know, it just follows their life and how they become, you know, professionals and masters at their own craft. So I'm really excited to read this, and based upon if I love it or not, I want to pick up more things by her. You know, she has a lot of great books, and they've got a lot of good reviews, so I'm really excited to pick this up. I haven't read it yet, even though it was supposed to be in my January TBR, but I'm not sure if I'll get to it this month, so I may put it on next month's TBR. But looking forward to reading it. The next two books are by the same author. Half of a Yellow Sun and Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Whew, girl, got through that thing. But yeah, I really love the movie adaptation of Half of a Yellow Sun. And of course, I've heard tremendous things about Americanah. So I'm really looking forward to getting to these two. I've never read anything by her, but I've heard her name several times. And of course, she did the speech, "We Should All Be Feminists." And that was in the Beyonce album. So, of course, I think if Queen Bee can pick up on her, so can I. Who's calling me? Who is calling? Hold on, I'm doing a video. Okay, I'm going to run through these last things really quick. Not the last thing. I also got Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. I actually read this book. I thought it was really cool. It was different. This is my first magical realism book that I can recall ever reading. So it was a good introduction. I like the premise of the book. I'll get more into this in my January wrap-up, but definitely more than what I thought it was going to be. Oh. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I also read, sorry, it looks ugly because I took the cover off to read it. Today I just finished The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I'll talk more about this in my January wrap-up, but I know a lot of people are reading this for like the first time and are now picking this up. And let me tell you, if you haven't read it, go ahead and get it, because this wrap-up gonna be lit, just so you know. Last couple of books, we are getting through it. We are getting through this. I'm getting dry, but we getting through it. The last couple of books I got from thriftbooks.com. Well, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. The first three books that I'm going to go through in this pile are from thriftbooks.com. And the last two books I got from this bookshop in DC off Georgia Ave, if you're in the area. But basically, it's a secondhand bookstore. You know, they have some new stuff, but it's mostly secondhand. So, of course, like I said, I'm being mindful of my budget, y'all. Don't worry. Don't worry. But the books I got from Thrift Books are... So, I know everybody's read this before. It's The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I've actually seen the movie adaptation and I loved it. You know, it got me some tears, so I figured I would go ahead and read the book. Like you say, the secondhand is a little better, but that's okay. I'm not bougie. I will read me a used book. So I'm really excited to read it, and I want to see if I love it just as much as I love the movie. Okay, you know when you read those books and you're just like, yes, they stick with you forever. So the first time I read this book was actually in the 10th grade. And the premise of the book was so good that I've always wanted to purchase it, but for some reason never did. I could never find it at my regular bookstore. I would see it all the time in the library, which is where I read it. And so it's called Shabanu, Daughter of the Wind by Suzanne Fisher Staples. It's about this girl. She's around 13 and she grows up in the desert. I'm not sure what country in the Middle East, but it's out that way. And, you know, her and her sister are both in arranged marriages. Well, they haven't gotten married yet, but basically the betrothed of her sister dies, and then her sister ends up getting married to her betrothed, and then she's led into this sort of mixed match marriage with this older guy who already has like 5, 6 different wives. And so it's just going through her journey as becoming a young woman. And if you're looking for something diverse to read and a different perspective, I would say pick this up. It's not very long, and I think it's classified as a middle grade read. So I really enjoyed this story, and I read this back in 10th grade. So when I saw it, I had to get it. And the next book that I keep trying to say the last book, like I don't have another stack over here, right? So the next book I got was The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I loved this movie when I was younger. Suge is one of my favorite characters, you know, so I saw this and I was like, I need to actually read the book because I feel like it'll be 10 times better than what the movie adaptation was.
But let me tell you, sister, you've been on my mind. Oh, sister, you're too of a kind. Oh, sister.
Yes, I did break out in song. That one was for you, Suge. That one's for you. The last 2 books that I have, these are both from the Walla Books bookstore in DC. The first one I got is Things Fall Apart. Oh, God. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I think I said that right. This is the 50th anniversary edition. I've never read this book, but I've always been hearing about it. A lot of people read this probably in like high school or something. So I figured I'd pick it up. It was only like $7 and it's in very good condition. So I'm excited to read it. You know, like I said, I'm trying to read more diversely, and I'm trying to make sure, you know, I'm hitting these classics because I feel like, you know, they'll beef me up more as a reader. And my last book, do not laugh at me, okay? It is a Nicholas Sparks book. It's A Walk to Remember. I had no idea he even wrote that movie or the book that the movie was based off of, but I loved the romance. I loved the story. It made me cry. And so I saw this in the bookstore and I just had to get it. It's a hardback one. 2, it was only like $6, and I think this is the first edition. I don't know. I could be lying. But I like the thought of it being a first edition book and I having it for like $6, so why not? So yeah, I decided to pick this up and I really wanted to read it because I've never read the book. And yeah, that is my entire Winter 2017 book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions about, you know, what I'm reading next, or, you know, any suggestions about what else I should pick up. This will not be the last haul, but, you know, I'm going to try and space these out because I don't got it like that, y'all. But I will see you next time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was cheesy as fuck. Like, my soul just cringed. But, alright, y'all. Bye.